Barrett, Mark Bolan, and Nick Drake. What is the role of madness in art and music?
Well, the role of that madness in art and music is a question for philosophers and psychologists. I think that eccentricity, for sure, has a role in creativity. You know, a mind that thinks differently than other minds. I mean, for me, I consider myself an intelligent guy, but even in writing, if you put a blank piece of paper in front of me and say, make up a story, I can't do it. If you give me a piece of history, musical history or history, and say, take the point of view of 4 authors and combine them, it's like a mix for me. It's great, I love that. You know, take a bit of this, a bit of that, mix it together, create something new, or something that is easier to hear. That's great, but a blank sheet of paper I find very, very difficult to deal with. But I think that somebody like Syd Barrett and Nick Drake, I'm not sure I put Mark Bolan in the same category, but they are a different kind of mind. And I've spent most of my working life watching these people in the studio do things which are unbelievable. You know, how do they do that? How does Richard Thompson play that on the guitar? It's incredible. And I know that to be inside that mind would be like suddenly transporting yourself, like I imagined as a child, you know, to suddenly be inside the mind of a bear, you know, who's going through the forest and tearing up a deer and eating it or something like that. Wow, what would that be like? And I think in a way to be a musician, a great genius musician, I can't imagine what it's like. And that's in a way part of my enjoyment of my work, is to be in a dialogue with bears, you know, with wild animals, are making things that I could never imagine in a million years making. And they're perfectly normal people. You go out for a beer with them and you talk about football and you eat whatever the role is or whatever. But you know that inside they are something completely different. And then there are some musicians who aren't that different. But they're not so interesting as musicians, because they do the obvious thing. But you listen to Syd Barrett and you listen to Nick Drake.
Oh yeah.
Where did that come from?
Another world.
It's another world, you know. It's something mysterious, and that mystery is the essence of why I enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
Because how can you know, it's such a, you know, the world is full of such mysteries, but I have got a little corner of the world, mysteries that I specialize in, and that's that one. But I don't try to think about it too much because there's nothing to think about. It's just so, it's like trying to think about being a bear. Nick Drake, this is the box set, released after his death. And I think it was the beginning of people beginning to appreciate Nick after his death. And this has been one form or another in print ever since then. When I sold my company to Island Records, I put a clause in the contract that they were never allowed to delete Nick Drake. And at the time, Nick Drake wasn't selling, so it was a bit crazy, but they agreed. And so this was